What's up, guys? How is everyone enjoying FighterZ? Game is so amazing. I've already beat the story mode. I've beat every mode of arcade mode. I've beat my friends a lot, and I've played a lot of multiplayer. I have like 50 matches under my belt in rank, so I'm back up to Super Saiyan rank, which I'm very happy about. Um, and yeah, loving the game as you probably predicted. I will do a review for it, but for right now, I want to talk about some breaking news that I've discovered. Mainly that I've been looking at some details here and there, trying to think of more information about the DLC that could potentially happen, and comparing it to supposed leaks and stuff like that. And one thing I've noticed is that if you go to the store page for the FighterZ Season Pass, it will say that the new 8 characters will be complete with avatars, lobby avatars for those characters. Which basically confirms that we're not going to get a playable version of Mr. Satan. Because Mr. Satan is a lobby avatar already in the game, and it only has 4 colors, so it's most likely not going to happen. I also thought a lot about alternate costumes, if we will ever see alternate costumes in the game. It's not a 100% no. It could happen, but so I would wonder. I'm not sure if those costumes, the lobby avatars, there's like multiple versions of each character. You can get police Krillin, you can get casual clothes Piccolo, you can get all these other versions of characters. So I really like the Majin Vegeta. If they would go in those directions for secondary alternate costumes for characters, that could be really cool. If you could like pick Majin Vegeta instead of regular Vegeta, or if you could pick Police Krillin over regular Krillin, stuff like that could be a lot of fun. So I'm not sure if those lobby avatars mean that's the costumes we might get, and I'm also not sure if that is basically our replacement for the fact that we're not going to get alternate costumes, because it's an Arc System Works game and they don't normally do alternate costumes, because it would be like they'd have to like create so much more content. They'd have to like, because they're trying to emulate a sprite. They're trying to like really make a character model look like a sprite, to the point where they even like put the shading into the textures and stuff to make it, because it's a cel shaded art style. And so because they are trying so hard to make it look like a 2D game despite using 3D models, that's why it's not that it's impossible. It's just a challenge for them. It's not that it's impossible. It's just that it'll take a lot more work than something like a Street Fighter character model. A skin for a Street Fighter character or a Tekken character, that's easy because the way the graphics and art style is set up for those games. But the way the art style is set up in Arc System Works games, not so much. But now, let's forget all of that, because that's all fine. But the big news is that there's been some data mining going on. And I can link the video in the description, but I'm going to read off some of what we've found now. So in the data mine, the guy who data mined it found information on lobby avatars that could possibly be in the game, basically just waiting for the DLC to come out. Which means these lobby avatars might come in later with like free updates, or they might be associated with a downloadable character. Like I established, the new characters in the Fighter Pass, it said they will come with avatars for those characters. So let's go over what we found here. There's Brawly and Super Saiyan Brawly, which means obviously there's probably going to be one Brawly in the game that's playable. The other one's like another version for the character, for the avatar. Sort of like how there's 2 avatars for a lot of characters. Like there's multiple for Piccolo, multiple for Yamcha, So probably just Super Saiyan Brawly would be playable. But so yeah, the first two are both Brawly. Now after that is Base Goku and Base Vegeta, which does kind of give some leeway towards the idea that Goku and Vegeta as base characters might actually be in the game. And in the second video done in the data mining that they found, it turns out the character model for Vegeta he had on screen actually looked like Vegeta was kind of in the Saiyan armor that he wore when he first appeared, when he first fought Goku on Earth. He kind of had similar armor to that. And it wasn't a lobby avatar, it was a full-blown character model. Now, there's a Saiyan character model for Goku as well, obviously, but, you know, it's just his normal character model with just Saiyan hair. That could be in the game for anything, especially considering he's wearing that in a lot of cutscenes. He's in his normal base form. Same with Vegeta, but with the one difference is that Vegeta doesn't have his Saiyan armor on. So there might actually be some evidence to the idea that Base Goku and Base Vegeta could be in the game. And if that's true, then there might be some evidence to that leak that suggested Brawly, Goku, and Vegeta and Raditz will all be in the game. But so far, haven't found any information on Raditz, but let's keep going. Because that also, those base forms, they could just be lobby avatars. They don't have to be playable characters. These are only lobby avatars. The next two are Bardock and Super Saiyan Bardock. Which makes me think if they put Bardock in the game, it will be base form Bardock, and then when he does his level 3, he'll turn Super Saiyan. Because there's no way they'll just make Bardock Super Saiyan at all times, because that's just not how he looks. That's not his iconic look. His iconic look is being normal Saiyan. And interestingly enough, in the Arc System Works 3DS fighting game, Ultimate Battalion, Bardock actually fights in base form, but he has one move, where if you have... Basically, it's the equivalent to level 3 of that game, where it's like you have to have a certain requirement of ki and health, something like that. I played this game like when it first came out, the year it came out. But Bardock could turn Super Saiyan only for his super ultimate attack. Much like how Goku could only turn Super Saiyan 3 for his super ultimate attack. So it makes me wonder if... And so also to keep in mind here, in Goku, you can actually get a Super Saiyan 3 Goku for the lobby avatar, just like you can get a Gold Frieza lobby avatar, which is cool because it's like, well, technically those are in the game because they're part of moves, so you could wear those at all times. If you really like that character and you want to really show off, you have like one of the special lobby avatars for them, like a special Gold Frieza. So I think it stands for reason that Bardock will be DLC, which is something I think a lot of us kind of already predicted Brawly and Bardock as DLC characters. And Bardock will have a Super Saiyan form for his level 3, which I've predicted mainly just based off my experience with the other Arc System Works Dragon Ball Z game. But we'll see. We'll see what we get. So far we have Brawly, Goku, Vegeta, and Bardock as new lobby avatars. Again, I think this is pretty much clear cut that Brawly and Bardock will be in the game as DLC. I'm not 100% convinced that it's Goku and Vegeta, but I had a lot of doubts that Base Goku and Base Vegeta would actually be in the game as playable characters as DLC. But we might have to cross that road someday. Like I said, I'm fine with it as long as it's free. If I have to pay for base forms, I'll be upset, and I don't know how I'll feel about that. Anyway, continuing on. Next on the list is Vegito and Vegito Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan. So that is, basically, it says just Vegito Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan, but so that could mean, what I think that means is that Super Vegito is not going to be in the game, and Vegito will be DLC, but he'll be in his blue form at all times, which makes sense, because if you're going to put... It would be really redundant to have a blue form Vegito and Super Vegito, because how different can they play from each other? They managed to do some cool things with Goku and Vegeta. Goku and Vegeta are definitely... Goku is way more based off his Buu Saga style fighting style, and Vegeta is definitely way more based off of his Android Saga fighting style. And when they have Super Saiyan Blue, they're both way more based off of their Super fighting style. You could definitely tell. Vegeta in particular, Vegeta never did Gallic Gun in Z besides like when he first fought Goku. He barely used Gallic Gun at all in Z. But in Super, he pulls out Gallic Gun a lot. And so Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta will use the Gallic Gun. I like that attention to detail. Much like also Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta will pummel you into the ground as a super, which is something he did when he was beating the crap out of Goku Black, when Goku Black was Super Saiyan Rose, and Vegeta had to teach him that a fake will never compete with a real Saiyan. One of the best moments in the show. I think Vegito, I've said this, before in my DLC video, that Vegito is an incredibly unique fighter. He doesn't fight like Goku or Vegeta. He would be perfect for a fighting game like this. If they want to make him always blue, I think that's perfectly reasonable. And next on the list is Cooler. And it only says Cooler. So if they do lobby avatars for Cooler, considering that there's 2 Broly's, 2 Bardoks, and 2 Vegetos, and there's only 1 Cooler, it makes me think Cooler might not actually become playable. But I also think that could be a really big missed opportunity here, and putting in Cooler would be a ton of fun. There's a lot of fans of Cooler. He could work. You'd have to do a little bit of... you'd have to use your imagination a little bit with the moveset. I don't know if his moves are completely there, but there is something there with Cooler that you could do, where he could be a bigger, slower version of Frieza. And of course, he could have his own unique moves, but it would be really cool to play a tag fighting game where you can switch in between Cooler and Frieza. Now, I'm assuming they're going to do Cooler in his final form. When you first see Cooler, he looks sort of like Frieza's final form, and then he transforms to like this giant bulky form that Frieza never did anything similar to ever. So it's like, I feel like if they're going to put Cooler in the game, they'd put that version of Cooler in, because if they make a Cooler that fights identical, who looks identical to Frieza's final form, that's going to be like, what was the point? Their fighting styles are so similar. Cooler doesn't really have any of his own moves. So I'm hoping for a big, bulky style character with Cooler who has moves similar to Frieza. Similar, not the same. And when you think of it like that, there is something there that you could do. My only concern is the fact that there's only 1 lobby avatar for Cooler. Makes me kind of think that maybe he won't be playable, because Mr. Satan's not playable and he has a lobby avatar. So maybe Cooler, because if Cooler was playable, there's First Form Frieza, there's First Form Cell. You can get those as lobby avatars. So it doesn't make any sense to not have base form Cooler or possibly meta Cooler as like just as a lobby avatar. So I don't know, just having only 1 Cooler, I don't know, could just simply be a lobby avatar to celebrate the movies. Might only be getting Broly and Bardock, but hey, I would love Cooler. If they put Cooler in, I'm down with that. So the next one is Ranger 17. It says Android 17 parentheses Ranger. Now, this is a little confusing to me, but basically what it is it's Android 17 wearing the clothes he wears now. As in, like, now in Dragon Ball Super. Like, that's what he currently wears in Super. He wears, like, a Ranger uniform. This is for a lobby avatar, so I think out of all the characters that could possibly not get a DLC, like an actual character that's playable, I don't know if we'll get Android 17 as a playable character. Mainly because, and I'll go into why a little bit more, but I really don't know if I'm buying that he'll be a playable character. Him being a lobby avatar makes perfect sense. But the thing is that he sort of appeared in the show during the tournament arc. Like, this is after Goku Black. And most of this game is everything... nothing after Goku Black is really represented in this game. It takes place, like, after Goku Black, before the tournament arc. So, the idea of putting Android 17 in as his own playable character... Now, it could be similar to like Goku Blue and Vegeta Blue, where he fights very different from Android 18, where he actually has, like, I mean, it's super. He has new moves where he can put other people in bubbles, and he does the bubble stuff way more often. There's something there. You could definitely make a character for 17, and I like 17. I would love to fight against 17 as his own playable character and all, but I don't know. I just I don't know. I'm not quite sold on the idea of him being a playable character. Same with base Goku and base Vegeta. I think it's very probable that just like when I said that Vegeta with the original armor, that this could all be like ideas that they completely just canned. These could all be just ideas that they just said, "No, we're not doing that." So just because there's already a 17 avatar in the game, and that's because he's a part of Android 18's character, so he has all these colors already. And so they could possibly just put in another 17 avatar that has nothing to do with a playable character. So just keep that in mind. Don't get super hyped up for the idea of getting to play 17. But also, I'm pretty sure the creators know how much people want to play as 17. A lot of talk happened about playing as 17, so I think they know that that's what we want. Now, lastly, the last two characters are Zamasu. Now, this actually is very, very intriguing to me, because I think that they could fuse Zamasu in as an avatar, and people be like, oh, it's another extension of Goku Black, so it's fine. But the funny thing is that if they were going to do a DLC character for Super Saiyan Blue Vegito, it would make so much sense to put in a DLC character of fused Zamasu. It also would not be a bad idea to do a DLC character of fused Zamasu, because if you're going to put Goku Black in the game, to put both Black and fused Zamasu in the game would be kind of crazy. But as DLC, it's not so bad, because it's an extension of the game, right? So it's not in the base game, so it feels more earned and valuable. Same with like Vegito. I'm totally okay with Vegito being as DLC. It would be kind of weird if he was in the base game, because it's like there's already all these other characters. Anyway, the most curious thing about Zamasu is that for character lobby, because remember, these are lobby avatars. There's no lobby avatar for Zamasu in the game. And there is a lobby avatar for all members of the Ginyu Force. There is a lobby avatar for Android 17. There is a lobby avatar for Whis because he appears with Beerus. There is a lobby avatar because of Bulma, because Bulma is in the story mode. I don't know why there's Mr. Satan avatar. I'm assuming it's because he's on the Z coins or something. But he's, of all these things, there's no lobby avatar for regular base Zamasu, and there's 12 color character models for Zamasu because he's a part of all 12 of Goku Black's colors. So it's very intriguing, very peculiar that Fuse Zamasu could actually be a playable character, and that Zamasu does not have a lobby avatar at all, considering he's a part of Black Goku's fighting style. So Fuse Zamasu could actually be a thing, and I don't know how I feel about that. I don't particularly want to play as Fuse Zamasu, but he has moves that Goku Black doesn't do. He has moves that are completely unique to him that Goku Black in the game doesn't use. Goku Black has access to all these moves that he did, but none of the moves that Zamasu did are in there as for Goku Black to use. So it could happen. It could be a thing. I again don't really care. I don't really like that villain. I like Goku Black a lot, and I'm really glad they went with him. I don't really like the villain of Fuse Zamasu. I don't really care for him. But I that's the list of all the lobby avatar characters. Now, again, Zamasu and Fuse Zamasu could just be lobby avatars, but I'm actually kind of swinging into the direction that Fuse Zamasu might actually be a playable character. So let's count these characters. We have Brawly, which is 1. Bardock, which is 2. Vegeta, which is 3. Cooler, which is 4. 17 and Zamasu, which are 7 total. And then there's base Goku and base Vegeta. Notice that there's 8 DLC characters, and I counted 7, not counting Goku and Vegeta. And of course, if you count Goku and Vegeta, well then now I'm counting 9 characters. So what's missing here? Well, if you notice, there's a lot of popular character ideas that are floating around that I didn't mention. Stuff like Kefla, Jiren, Kid Goku, Master Roshi. People want these characters. There's a huge outcry for them. So it's very possible that characters like Android 17 might not be playable. Maybe not Zamasu. Maybe not Cooler. Maybe because the numbers don't add up to 8. Now, they possibly do add up to 8 if you take some out or put some in. Like, for example, if they put in 2 Vegetos, it would be 8. But I highly doubt they'll put in 2 different Vegetos. Or maybe they put in no Vegeto and no Cooler or something. And they'll end up with putting in Goku and Vegeta to make a total of 8, with base Goku, base Vegeta. But the important thing is that when you count everything up, it's a number that doesn't equal 8. And that is where I start to think that some of these might not be playable characters. Some might just be merely lobby avatars. So let me go over my percentage chance of which lobby avatar will be a possible character. Brawly, 100%. I've never predicted something and called it and said 100%. But Brawly, if they're going to put him in as a lobby avatar, to not put him as a playable character would be such a slap in the face to the fans that if there's data found in the game that Brawly is in the game, and I'm really into the idea of Brawly because there are certain titles that reference the movies. I have a title for Super 13, I have a title for Bio Brawly, and because of that, I think there's no reason why they won't just put Brawly in. So Brawly, I think, is 100%. I think this confirms Brawly is in the game. Same with Bardock. Bardock, 100%. Expect him as DLC. Vegito, I'm saying like a 90%, but the fans are crying for it. The fans want it and demand it. So, and if they're going to put him in, they're going to put in 2 Vegetos. If it was only 1 Vegeto as an avatar, then I would say, well, it might just be a cool little thing. But it's 2 Vegetos as avatars. It makes me really think there's going to be 2 playable, or there's going to be a playable Vegeto character. I'm saying Vegeto is like a 90% chance. And if you're confident enough to say it's 100%, you're probably not wrong. You're probably not wrong. It's really high. It might even be like a 99% chance that Vegeto is playable. But so far, we got Brawly 100, Bardock 100. I'm thinking Vegeto's very, very high, 90. Cooler, I'm giving like I'm going like, I want to say like a 75% chance. I think there's a very high chance that Cooler is more than just a playable character. I think it's actually, I think it's most likely going to happen. So I think you can bet your bottom dollar that Cooler will also be playable. Android 17 Ranger, this I'm giving a much lower chance. I'm thinking like 45%, 50% playable character. Just because he's got a lobby avatar don't mean nothing. And so again, there's something I wanted to point out here. No Jiren, no Kefla on these lobby avatars. Which makes me think, why would they pick a character from the tournament arc to make a character for? Because 17 didn't fight until the tournament arc. But then they won't make a character for Jiren and Kefla? I'm not buying it. Now, also keep in mind that just because these are lobby avatars already data mined into the game, or already in the game that people data mined, that doesn't mean that Kefla and Jiren aren't happening. It just means they're not in the game yet. Which makes sense because the tournament arc isn't over yet. So they can't really make Jiren yet because we gotta see what his biggest, baddest final move is before we can put him in the game. Because we don't know what his level 3 is going to be. Hell, we barely even know what his fighting style is going to be like. Kefla they could probably start working on now. But still, I think Super is going to stop making episodes at the end of March anyway. So they might update all this stuff in later. This is like the first wave of DLC probably. I'm thinking this is probably going to be the first pack of DLC will include these characters and these lobby avatars. So 17 given like a 45% chance, possibly a 50% chance, but I don't think he'll be playable at all, honestly. And fused Zamatsu as a playable character, I'm giving that like a 80% chance, even though I don't really want it. Too many things add up. It's so peculiar and curious of the way they've done things. Too many things add up. Too many things add up. So the fact that we'll probably be releasing Vegito around the same time, the fact that there's all these there's a missing Zamatsu lobby avatar in the current game. Too many things add up to not do a fused Zamatsu, especially when these are in the game's data files. This is not speculation. This is what someone found in the data files. So, and then of course we'll talk about Goku and Vegeta as base forms. Because the numbers don't add up, I don't exactly think they'll be playable. I don't understand why they would be playable. Base Goku has some argument because he has Spirit Bomb, but base Vegeta has no argument. So, yeah, I'm not seeing that. Now, I will be linking these videos in the description, because you really should give them a watch for yourself to better understand what's going on. They also talk about different game modes that could possibly be coming to the game. As we know, there's 2 empty spaces on the map. There's a West City space, and there's a space for Kami House, and there's like nothing really there. So it's most likely going to be added in for DLC later. Whether there be a free update or not, but either way, these videos go into that stuff too. They found some things in the video as well. The guy's name was Sergio M3, and he found a mode called Z Union, Z League, and Raid Battle. So these could be potential modes in those spaces. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what comes. But as far as DLC goes, I think that this is not the full list of 8 characters. I think that I bet you that a lot of this is deceiving because these are just lobby avatars. And I bet you that there will probably be like 4 characters out of all these. I could very much see Cooler not being a character, 17 not being a character, and what we are left with is Brawly, Bardock, Vegito, and Fuse Zamatsu. I think what they might do is do the first wave of DLC releases and a wave of 4 characters with some lobby avatars and some other things added in as well, like stamps and whatnot. And then we'll get another wave later with 4 more. That's kind of what I'm predicting. If they don't do that, then what they could be doing is doing characters based off of the Goku Black arc with Fuse Zamatsu and Vegito. Maybe it will be called the Fusion Pack. And then they'll also do a pack called the Movie Pack featuring Brawly and Bardock. So, because of this, I don't think they would have this data in the game for an odd number of characters. And it doesn't add up to being a full roster of 8 DLC characters. And that's the number we've gone with. That's the magic number. So, yeah, I'm really thinking that Cooler might be deceiving. I think Android 17 might be deceiving. I think we're left with Brawly, Bardock, Vegito, and Zamatsu as playable characters. But, so if there's any other predictions you guys might have, like, say, Master Roshi, Kid Goku, Kefla, Zamatsu, or not Zamatsu, sorry, let me restart this. If there's any predictions you guys might have for Roshi, Kid Goku, Kefla, and Jiren, I think that they could do a Dragon Ball pack with Goku and Roshi. They could do a tournament pack with Jiren and Kefla. I think these are all possible things. And they could also do other things. There's many other directions they could go in. I thought Deborah had a hot shot. I thought Deborah had a chance of getting the game. I thought Raditz had a chance of getting the game. So, maybe we could see something like that, or even Dr. Giro or something like that. But it looks like I can at least say I'm very confident on 4 DLC characters. And Fuse Zamatsu was a DLC character I've never asked for or I never even predicted. So, but I think, I don't know. Some people might like it, but I don't know. If you're salty about Fuse Zamatsu, you could say something. I'm kind of salty about Fuse Zamatsu, but not too bad because we're getting Fusamatsu and we're getting Blue Vegito. So if we're gonna get Blue Vegito, I'm not gonna complain about the like Vegito's so good he can take up 2 character slots in my opinion. Like I want Vegito, man. He's got the sword, man. The ability of Final Flash, Kamehameha, stuff like that. That when he fights, crossing his arms and just kicking like a badass. I want that, man. I want that in this game. I want to see what his physical attacks are. I want to see what his ki blasts are. You know, he's so interesting as a character. I want to see what his funny lines are. I'm totally down with this, man. So I will not care if they put Fusamatsu in if they're doing it because they want to put Fusamatsu versus Goku or Goku Vegeta Fuse as Vegito. If they only want to put Vegito in so that way he can fight Fusamatsu, because it would be weird if Vegito fought Goku Black, you know. So if they're doing that so we can have Blue Vegito, I'm not gonna bicker, okay? I'm not gonna complain. Fucking do that, dude. That's totally cool because I want Vegito. As far as Bardock and Brawly, I think a lot of us predicted these because they're so popular. I think everyone wants them. I also think that some people might get butthurt and upset over Android 17 and Cooler being avatars and not being playable characters, but that's kind of... I think this idea of 4 DLC characters now and 4 later makes too much sense. I think it just makes too much sense. Now, as the game gets updates, we might get more information to data mine after each update, and people might find out what some DLC is before it's released again. So maybe in the future we'll know. Hopefully we'll see these DLC characters announced soon. It seems like every time there's a leak, every time something comes out, there's a video that comes out like right after, or even just like confirmation that like a article in a magazine or something that just says like, oh, Goku Black is actually in the game. You guys all thought you saw Hit Beerus and Goku Black. Well, you were right. Hit Beerus and Goku Black are actually in the game. Then people were like making a fuss about Android 21 because Goku was shooting at a female Boo in a cutscene, and they're like, what is this character? And people and then they're like, well, here's the video of Android 21 right before the game comes out. Here's Android 21. Now you know. And so, yeah. I'm thinking hopefully we'll get some information soon confirming who will be DLC, because I don't want this to be a long rumor for a while people are being upset over the idea that 17 and Cooler will be playable. Maximilian Dude on YouTube he wants Cooler. He's been saying he wants Cooler multiple times. So I feel like if Cooler's not playable and he's a lobby avatar, it'll be a real slap in the face to him and other Cooler fans, and I know Cooler fans are out there. I think, like I said, I think Cooler could be a cool character. I think he could be done right. Even 17 could be done right. But I'm just not so sure if we're seeing all 8 characters in this initial data mine. I'm saying keep your mind open. It could happen, but either way, I'll link the videos if you guys haven't watched yet. And let's start speculating, guys. Let's start trying to figure out who's going to come in. I think we have a real lead at least 4 DLC characters, and that's very exciting.